Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Mahabhajanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tishe Namah. Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali, at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtotarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtotarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtotarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams unto the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis. So yesterday, there were some special occasions, but we decided that we would take a breather for a day after Nrsimha Chaturdasi. So now we're resuming, and we will cover, briefly, we will cover these personalities who are appeared on the full moon. Actually, it's called Vaishak Purnima. Yesterday was the full moon day. And Sripad Madhavendra Puripad, his appearance day, on that day, and Sri Srinivas Acharya appearance day, Sri Parameshwari Thakur, his disappearance day, and Buddha Purnima, Lord Buddha's appearance day, Vishnu Buddha. So that was yesterday, and today, Friday the 24th, is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, who is a very great disciple preacher of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I have a very special liking for him, because when I read his biography the first time a few years ago from Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, I became so overwhelmed what kind of personality he is. And he was very near and dear to our Srila Prabhupada also. So we'll cover these topics. Just wanted to mention that a message was sent to me by Raghava Maharaj this morning about a cyclone. Have you heard about that? Oh, you heard already? Cyclone coming? Okay. So it's supposed to be touching down, they don't know exactly when, but sometime around the 26th. And the rains, very heavy rains and wind, is supposed to be starting to come onto the shore. Could be in Calcutta, also the Sundarbans at the southernmost point of Bengal. Those jungle areas should be hit by the cyclone. And the rains are supposed to be coming between the 25th and the 27th in Calcutta. Heavy rains. They even said X amount, so many centimeters of rains. Now, as far as here, probably we'll get winds and rain, for sure we'll get. But because we're so far from the ocean, and the cyclones actually come on the ocean mostly, and the land that is just there on the ocean. I was in Jagannath Puri when they had that hurricane cyclone. When was that? You were also there. I think that was 2019? 2019. And it also came in the month of May. 18. So it came in the month of May. And also, according to this weather report, this May month is the month when many cyclones have come over the years. So it's really the atmospheric condition in the month of May is particularly productive of cyclones. So anyway, that's a bit of news. We will see what comes our way. And but our Gaurangi, Devi Dasi, she is going to fly on the early morning of the 29th, and she has to leave here on the 28th. Oh, early morning of the 30th, okay. So she has to leave here on the 29th. So probably we'll have to see what is the situation at that time, but should be okay. Should be okay. And no matter what happens, it's always okay for the devotees. Understand? It's always okay for the devotee, no matter what happens. It's always favorable. Yes, always. Okay, so now to go to the topics.
Digital India sale has arrived. Get 10% instant discount, assured lowest prices, get no-cost EMI, complete post-purchase support and unmatched exchange value. Visit Reliance Digital.
All right, so first we're reading Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Maharaj's discussion. This Vaishak Purnima, that is the name of this month's full moon, Vaishak Purnima. And also, it wasn't mentioned on the calendar, but also that day, yesterday, was the appearance day of Sri Radha Raman Ji. Yesterday. And in Vrindavan, big festival at Radharaman Temple, and where the place where Radharaman actually appeared, that place has a beautiful mandap there. I'm sure they're decorating and so many things. Yes, and there's also Parameshwari Thakur also appeared. And it is also Sri Krishna's Pool Dol Vihar. That means that there is a boat, and Krishna is put onto that boat and is decorated with many flowers, and he is pushed here and there on that boat. So Srila Bharati Maharaj is telling that today is a very special day, for it includes so many auspicious tithis. It is the appearance day of Sri Radharaman Dev, of Srila Srinivasacharya, and the disappearance day of Srila Parameshwari Thakur. Today, Krishna also enjoys in a pond on a flower boat, And this occasion is called Sri Krishna's Pul Dol Bihar. And also it is Buddha Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Buddha. And then he reminds us, as he always does, that we must definitely honor the appearance and the disappearance days, both of the Vaishnavas. This is because their remembrance is the treasure of our life, and their forgetfulness is our misfortune. Thus, in whatever way that we remember them, we will meet with auspiciousness. So first, we have a nice picture of Radharamanji, and our Gaurangi has sewn clothing for this very form of Krishna. How fortunate. And I have some clothing in my room from Radharaman, as Radharaman's prasad. So, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he used to serve some group in a box. He had Shalagram Shilas. He used to perform archan and so forth. However, at that time in Vrindavan, the deities of Madan Mohan, Govinda Dev, and Gopinath, they manifested, and they were being worshipped very nicely by Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, and Sri Madhu Pandit, respectively. But Gopal Bhatta Goswami felt in his heart that if my Shalagram Shila also had a deity form, then I could have also decorated him very attractively. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami just wished for it. And immediately, from the Shalagram Shila, he doesn't say here, but the next day, Gopal Bhatta Goswami opened up his box, and there was Radharaman in his box. So, the Radharaman deity manifested on this very titi. And that is why in the Radharaman temple they celebrate with great festivities on this day. The deity is very small because it has manifested from a Shaligram. Now, Buddha Purnima. Today is also Buddha Purnima. Now, originally, Srila Vyasadeva, he divided the Vedas into 4 divisions. What are these 4 divisions of the Vedas? Do you know? Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda. Now, the Rig Veda, it consists of all different mantras. The Samaveda consists of many hymns, many songs. The Yajur Veda consists of details related to yajnas, sacrifices, and also other actions. And the Atharva Veda, guess what the Atharva Veda contains? Guess what the Atharva Veda contains? The Atharva Veda contains knowledge in the mode of ignorance, where information about how to cast a spell, how to kill, and so on is described there. Now, influenced by this, people also started performing human sacrifices. The masses of people, they were headed in that direction. So it was not a simple task to stall such practices. So for this reason, Bhagavan himself, he came as Buddha. And he went to the extreme. What was that? He told everyone, he preached, don't follow the Vedas. But yet, he took and he taught the words from the Vedas itself. What is that? Ahimsa paramo dharma mam sarvani bhutani. Now this was done due to the time, the place, and the circumstances. So Vishnu Buddha, we worship him. He is an incarnation of Krishna. And that's why you see him on our circumambulation of the altar. So, this religious principle of ahimsa, here it says ahimsa paramo dharma. What does that mean? It means that non-violence, to be non-violent, is param dharma. This is the supreme dharma. This is a statement in the Vedas. Now Lord Buddha, he told people don't follow the Vedas. Why? Why did he tell people not to follow the Vedas? What?
Sacrifices.
What sacrifices?
Not killing the animals.
Yes, because they were doing animal sacrifices here, there, everywhere.
Da Vinci, hai finito? Mona Lisa, l'arte non può mai essere finita, può solo essere abbandonata. Cosa intendi per abbandonato? Sono seduto qui 2 anni ormai. Il tempo dura abbastanza a lungo per coloro che ne fanno uso. Hai finito di nuovo i colori? Sì. Va bene. Quanto ancora? Altri 2 anni. Vuoi adesso?
Killing animals, killing. But they were doing it in the name of the Vedas because certain animal sacrifices are allowed in the Vedas. So they did that. And even Srila Bharati Maharaj mentions that they were headed towards what? Human sacrifices, not just animals. Because of the Vedic statements, how to kill, how to perform human sacrifice, it's all there in the Vedas. So it was not easy, it was not an easy task that anybody could do to stop this from happening. Because the whole human society in Bharatvarsha, they were headed in that direction. Killing animals indiscriminately. So therefore, what did Lord Buddha do? He preached non-violence. Now, non-violence in and of itself is not the highest dharma, of course, but in some parts of the Vedas it says that, ahimsa paramo dharma, to be non-violent. But what is the highest actual dharma in the Vedas? Savai pungsan paro dharma, yato bhaktirat hokshaje, ahoitukiya pratihata, yayatma suprasidati. That's the highest. That is the param dharma for the human beings. To worship Krishna with pure bhakti. But in order to affect these people in the tamagun, in the mode of ignorance, this could not be preached. Therefore, he preached non-violence. Stop killing animals. Like that. And he succeeded to do that. So, so we worship Lord Buddha as a very merciful incarnation of Lord Krishna, but we should know that the Buddha that most people know of nowadays around the world, he is not this Vishnu Buddha. There was another Buddha who came after this Vishnu Buddha. He was born in Nepal, and then he came down to Gaya, where the Vishnu Buddha was born, and he performed austerities and so forth. But that Buddha, who later became known as Shakya Singha Buddha, so he preached this bogus philosophy that there's no soul, like Buddhism. That Buddhism denies the fact that the human beings have an eternal identity. No. Their whole position is nirvana. Do you know what nirvana means? Nirvana? What is the literal meaning of nirvana? What? Yeah, so nir and vana. Vana is referring to this material world. Vana. And nir is saying that it doesn't exist. Nirvana. So the modern day Buddhists, they like this concept that there's no eternal position. And this material world is temporary and false. But that conception of Buddhism also became mixed with Mayavadism. Mayavadism, we talked about that the other day on the appearance day of Sri Shankaracharya. How Shankaracharya is Lord Shiva and he came to preach covered Buddhism, you see. So when our Srila Prabhupada came to the Western countries, he saw that this situation in the Western world is very broadly affected by two different kinds of philosophical misunderstandings. What is that? Nirvishesh, Shunyavad. Nirvishesh means that the God or the Absolute Truth has no form. It has no form, no qualities, no paraphernalia, like this. Nirvishesh. Impersonal. Impersonal. Brahma Jyoti. But the other, Nirvisheshvad and Shunyavad. Shunyavad means the philosophy of nothingness. Shunya means zero. The word Shunya means zero. Shunyavad means the philosophy of nothingness. That is modern day Buddhism, and Western people become taken in by it because they're suffering in the material world, which has forms and shapes, this and that. And they like this idea, like the picture of Lord Buddha, that he's simply sitting and he's going internal and he's finding his full satisfaction. So they try to mimic that. And they try to go to yoga classes to learn Hatha Yoga, this and that. But mostly they're misled. But this is not only referring to people that are trying to pursue philosophy. This Paschatya Desha Tarane, to deliver the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism, this is also referring to what? Even the religions that are in the West. Even the Abrahamic religions like Christianity, like Muslim, like Jewish, they have an impersonal conception ultimately. Although they preach, and although it's there in the Bible that God is the Supreme Father, and that man is made in the image of God. But many Christians, and I know this for a fact because I've delved into this extensively, and many Christians, when it comes down to the ultimate understanding God, they know God is not a person. God is a spirit. They're very confused. They don't understand. Of course, He's not a person like you and I that has a material body. No, but He's a person. He has form. So Western countries, because they don't have sufficient information, and there has been so much atheistic propaganda, therefore the whole Western world, even to this day, is filled with impersonalism and voidism. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission Gauravani Pracharane. The instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are preached by the pure devotees in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus delivering the Western countries from Nirvisheshvad and Shunyavad. So, all glories to Lord Buddha Dev on his appearance day. Now we come to Srinivasacharya. Now we've heard this story recently because the disappearance day of Srinivasacharya was also recently. So today is also the appearance day of Srinivasacharya. Now, by worldly considerations, Srinivasacharya was born in the Burdhaman district of Bengal. He's born in the village of Chakandi. Now, when his father, who was named Chaitanya Das, was desirous of a son, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself blessed him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Chaitanya Das, who became the father of Srinivasacharya. And Mahaprabhu understood that he was desiring to have a son. So Mahaprabhu said, whatever you have desired, it will be fulfilled. And then Srinivas appeared as his son. Now Srinivasacharya went to Navadvip. And in Navadvip, he performed the Navadvip Dham Parikrama. With who? Do you know who was leading the party? Remember? Ishan Thakur. Who was Ishan Thakur? You don't know. Ishan Thakur was the servant in the house of Jagannath Mishra. Very, very great devotee. And Ishan Thakur also took care of, when Mahaprabhu took sannyas and left home, he took care of Sachi Mata and Vishnupriya Devi like this. So Ishan Thakur was always living there at the Yog Peeth. And so when Srinivasacharya came to Navadvip, Ishan Thakur was present at that time, and he took him on Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Of course, there were a group of devotees, but Ishan Thakur was leading that party.
जब भी मैं ठंडा खाती थी, जैसे कि आइसक्रीम, मुझे एक झंझनाहट सी महसूस होती थी। ये बढ़ती जा रही थी ये प्रॉब्लम। पहले ठंडे से शुरू हुई, फिर गर्म खाने से हो रही थी। तब जाके मैंने डेंटिस्ट को दिखाया। उन्होंने कहा कि आप सेंसोडाइन यूज कीजिए। अब मुझे फ्रिज से कुछ ठंडा निकाल के खाना हो तो मुझे दोबारा सोचना नहीं पड़ता है।
Now, Srila Bharati Maharaj is saying that all the different very exalted Vaishnavas who desired to meet with Mahaprabhu and other Vaishnavas. So what would happen is when those Vaishnavas came, then that Vaishnava already left this world. This is the case with Srinivasacharya. So many Vaishnavas left the world before he could reach to Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. But at last he was able to meet with Gadadhar Pandit. We read about that the other day. The Gadadhar Pandit, he waited for 11 months after Mahaprabhu left the planet in Jagannath Puri. And Gadadhar Pandit was weeping and in such extreme separation. But he waited because he knew that Srinivasacharya was coming. And he wanted to give very powerful blessings to Srinivasacharya. Now Srinivasacharya he had heard that Gadadhar Pandit had a copy of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It was very rare in those days that somebody had a copy of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because every single copy had to be done by hand. There were no machines to do it back then. So when he came and met Gadadhar Pandit, he also asked to see the Srimad Bhagavatam that Gadadhar Pandit was always reading from. He was reading to who? He was reading to Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself. And also he was reading it on his own. So when Gadadhar Pandit showed him that Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srinivasacharya opened up the book, he noticed that on every page, the actual writings, they were completely blurred and washed away by the tears of Gadadhar Pandit. And so he could not read it. They were not legible. Now, Srinivasacharya went to another place, only to discover that the other copy was also in the same condition. So he returned to Puri, but by that time Gadadhar Pandit also had left his body. So then next, he approached Abhiram Thakur. We heard about Abhiram Thakur the other day, because Abhiram Thakur had a whip. What's the word again in Russian? Yeah, nut.
Like a Danish name, Knut.
Okay.
Similar name.
Okay. So Abhiram Thakur had a whip. And he gave it, it had a name. The whip had a name. You know what the name was? Jai Mangala. Jai Mangala. Then, whatever person, if Abhiram Thakur used to beat him with his whip, what would happen? That person would be blessed with Krishna Prem. And so, when Srinivasacharya came before him, then Abhiram Thakur whipped him once. Then he whipped him twice. And then the wife of Srinivasacharya stopped him. And she said, "Oh, he is just a small child. He won't be able to tolerate so much Krishna Prem." So Srinivasacharya, then he went to Vrindavan. And there in Vrindavan he studied under all the Shastras, under the tutelage, under the teaching of Srila Jiva Goswami. And his companions in that class, in that study under Jiva Goswami, he had two companions. Who were they? Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamananda Prabhu. So after the study was completed, they were there for some years with Srila Jiva Goswami, and after the study was completed, then Jiva Goswami gave them titles. These three Vaishnavas were given titles on behalf of the Vishva Vaishnav Raj Sabha. Jiva Goswami gave them titles. And he awarded them the name Acharya for Srinivas. That's how Srinivas became known as Srinivas Acharya. And then Dukhi Krishna Das, he got the name Shyamananda. And we know that whole pastime, how he found the ankle bell or anklet of Srimati Radhika and so forth. And then Narottam Das Thakur received the title Thakur Mahashai. Narottam Thakur Mahashai. So these three personalities, they together performed the Braj Mandala Parikrama while they visited all the pastime places. And then later on, they loaded onto a bullock cart all the Vaishnava literatures, the books of the Goswamis and so forth, that had been handwritten. Now, on the journey that they started, they received the blessings of Jiva Goswami to go towards the east, the southern and east. And so they went towards Bengal to preach with this bullock cart and all the books. And there in Bengal, they had the intention that they would make copies of the books. So Srinivasacharya, he was appointed for their traveling party, that he was in charge of this. Now, on the way at night, when everybody would go to sleep, they would take turns who would remain awake in order to guard these literatures. But finally, when they reached this Hindu town, the Hindu town's name was Vishnupur. And there was a king who was the king of that area, and his name was Virhamvir. Now, the devotees, they were presuming that they could relax their vigilance a little bit because they didn't expect any danger from thieves or dacoits. Why? Because they were going through a Vishnu king's, a Vaishnava king's, area. So they said, oh, here the scriptures won't be stolen. So that night, they all slept. Now, as luck would have it, the king had an astrologer. Kings have astrologers. And that astrologer, he calculated. He said, a priceless treasure is passing through your kingdom. Because that king Birhamvir, he also had different dacoits who would go and steal from other persons who were passing through the kingdom. But now this astrologer said, oh, there is an incalculable, priceless treasure. It's passing now through your kingdom. So the king sent some thieves to loot the treasure. But he warned them against killing. They should not kill anyone. So observing all three sound asleep, Narottam, Srinivas, Shyamananda, they were all sound asleep. When the thieves came there, they saw, oh, they're all asleep. Then they took away the box of scriptures without any delay. But later when they opened the box, they discovered only scriptures. Now they were unsure if these scriptures could be of any use to them. So the king kept them aside. Now when Narottam, Shyamananda and Srinivas woke up, then they realized that the books had been stolen. Now they were grief-stricken. Srinivasacharya felt great repentance. And he was thinking, my Guru Varga gave me this responsibility, and I let them down by sleeping out of laziness. Now Srinivasacharya, he was actually Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disciple. But since he had studied the Shastras under the guidance of Sri Jiva Goswami, so he considered Jiva Goswami to be his guru as well. So he resolved, I will not leave this place unless the stolen scriptures are recovered. It will certainly be good if I find the scriptures, because otherwise I will simply leave my body in this very place.
Blood while brushing, discomfort in gums while eating, and bad breath. These could be the 3 signs of gum problems caused by plaque bacteria. Choose Parodontax. It is 4 times more effective at removing plaque bacteria. Parodontax, the gum experts.
So he decided to remain there while he instructed Narottam and Shyamananda, preach whatever you have learned through the medium of kirtan. So then they left. Narottam Thakur, he preached in the north part of Bengal, and he would sing in the Garanahati melody. Shyamananda preached in South Bengal and Orissa in the Reneti melody, while Srinivasacharya remained in Vishnupur. And he also preached via kirtan, using the Manohar Shai melody. So all three of them, they preached in different melodies. So actually their singing, their kirtan, was preaching. Yes. Now Srinivasacharya, he was preaching there in Vishnupur. So every day there was a conference, a sabha, and there was the recitation of the Bhagavatam. Now as long as he was hearing the Bhagavat, because he was attending that place, Srinivasacharya, and he would cry when he was hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam being read. Why would he cry? Because he thought, although my Guru Varga entrusted these books to me, they got stolen. So he was weeping and weeping. Now, upon hearing the Harikatha of Srinivasacharya, King Virhambir, he became very attracted to Srinivasacharya, and he became his disciple. So then, he observed that whenever Srinivasacharya used to start speaking katha, then he would burst into tears. And the king asked him, "Oh Guruji, why do you cry?" Then Srinivasacharya replied, "I am so unfortunate that my Guru Varga entrusted the responsibility of these invaluable books that they had written. He gave me that responsibility, but the books got stolen." So then, when King Virhambir heard this from Srinivasacharya, he brought the box and he opened it to show the books. Now, seeing them intact, Srinivasacharya, he felt a wave of relief, and immediately he sent word to Vrindavan with the news about the recovery of the books. And earlier, Srila Kaviraj Goswami, he had also become worried, thinking that the Chaitanya Charitamrita book had disappeared from this world. But then he got pacified when his servant informed him that he had made a copy of it before he dispatched the original. Now in the meantime, he heard, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami heard, that Srinivasacharya had recovered all the scriptures. And he became very happy. So Srinivasacharya, actually he established the Madan Mohan deity, and it still remains there. Where? In Vishnupur. He established Madan Mohan deity there. Now when the kingdom was attacked, then Madan Mohan blew the enemy away with a kaman, that means a cannon, named Dal Mandala. Even now people go there to see that cannon. So, who did this? Who blew away with the cannon these persons who were trying to attack the kingdom? The deity, Madan Mohan. He operated the cannon and he blew away all these military forces that were trying to attack. So that cannon had a name. It was called Dal Mandala, Dal. And even now, people go there to see that cannon when they go to visit that holy place. Now, from the disciplic succession, of Srinivasacharya the various pujaris in Vrindavan. Pujaris of the Gopinath deity, Madan Mohan, Govinda, Damodar, all the other deities also. These pujaris, they were in the disciplic succession of Srinivasacharya. So that is why even today in Jaipur, you'll observe that all the pujaris are Gaudiyas. And this is all due to the mercy of Srinivasa Acharya. Even the pujaris of Madan Mohan in Karoli, they are Gaudiyas. And the root of this is Srinivasa Acharya. So the Sad Goswami Ashtakam that we sing, that was composed by Srinivasa Acharya. So in that Ashtakam, Srinivasa Acharya has brilliantly described the life and the history of the Goswamis. In this Ashtakam, he described how they spent their days and so on doing kirtan. Krishnot kirtana gana nartana paro premamritambo nidhi. So he wrote in that Ashtakam, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. I offer my obeisances to those six Goswamis who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and in dancing. Now later in the Ashtakam, he also mentions how the Goswamis wandered around Braj, experiencing the pangs of separation. They were calling out, Hey Radhe, Brajadevike Chalalite, Hey Nandasuno Kutaha. Now crying out to Srimati Radharani, saying, Hey Radhe Brajadevike, where are you? Are you in a forest on the banks of the Yamuna? Are you near Radha Kunda? Where can I find you? So like this, they searched in a mood of Mahavivala. Everything had been revealed in this Ashtakam. So now, that's Srinivasacharya's Katha from Srila Bharati Maharaj, and now he goes and very briefly he tells about another great personality whose disappearance day is today, and that is Srila Parameshwari Thakur. Now, where was Parameshwari Thakur born? In Attapur. That is in the Hooghly district of West Bengal. And in fact, in that very place, his deities are still being served there. So, Parameshwari Thakur was born in the family of Vaidyas. A Vaidya is a doctor, a physician. So in another song, Vaishnava Vandana, it is said, Parameshwar Das Thakur Vandibo Savadhane Shrigale Loyal Nam Samkirtan Stane.
আরে তাড়াতাড়ি দুধটা আনো।
হাত অবশ হয়ে গেছে, কিচ্ছু ফিল করতে পারছি না, বাচ্চার জন্য এতটুকু করতে পারছি না।
হাত পা অবশ হওয়া কিংবা চিনচিনে ব্যথা হওয়া এগুলি ভিটামিন বি কমে যাওয়ার লক্ষণ। নিউরোবিয়নের লাল পাতা দিয়ে এই অভাব দূর করুন আর প্রাণ ভরে জীবন ফিল করুন। নিউরোবিয়ন ফোর্ট।
And this is telling that one time, when Parameshwari Thakur was in the midst of big, huge Samkirtan, then there were so many devotees who assembled there. Then some atheist person, he took a dead fox and he threw it into the middle of the Sankirtan party. You know what a fox is? What's your word for fox? Do you know the word for fox? Yeah, fox. Fox. Not really. It's in the family of cats. Cat family, not dog family. But it's a fox. So, in Samkirtan, the atheistic persons, they took this dead fox, this animal, they threw it into the middle of the Sankirtan party. And you know what happened? Parameshwari Thakur, he revived that Shrigala. Shrigala means fox. He revived it. He made it alive again, and he also made him sing kirtan, this fox. That was the power of Parameshwari Thakur. Can you do that? Hell no. So, now, yesterday was also the appearance day of our great Acharya, Sri Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is the guru of who? Yes, and many other disciples also. But he is especially the guru of Ishwara Puri, who became the guru of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. So Madhavendra Puri is a very important personality in our line. So in a brief way, Srila Bharati Maharaj is describing this katha about Madhavendra Puri, and he is telling, because Madhavendra Puri was a very renounced, always just wandering from one village to another, in Vrindavan, in Braj Mandala. But in his extreme mood of renunciation, then Srila Madhavendra Puri took a vow. He made a vow that he would never ask anything from anyone. He would not go asking here and there. He would not go to ask for food. He would not ask for shelter, clothing, or anything else. And also, he vowed that he would only accept some milk. That's all, nothing else. And he also would only do that between sunrise and sunset, not after sunset, not before sunrise. So he was not inclined to accept anything more. So this is known as Ayachaka Vritti. Ayachaka Vritti. And it means that that person will accept only things which comes of their own accord. Not that he's asking anyone for it. No, they just suddenly, a person comes, gives it to him. So that's called Ayachaka Vritti. Now he did not take these vows to impress others or to obtain name, fame, or material benefit, but solely he took these vows for the purpose of engaging all his time in chanting the names of the Lord and in remembering his pastimes. Vows like this of Madhavendra Puri, this is not appropriate for all different types of devotees. It is only appropriate for very advanced devotees like Madhavendra Puri Pada. Why? Because they have already established a deep relationship with the Lord. So only they can take such vows like this. Srila Bharati Maharaj is telling a story that once when he and his preaching party went to Haridwar, so they heard of one sadhu from other people while they were there. And this sadhu was very famous. Why? Because he never asked for anything from anyone. And he was only surviving on whatever came by itself. But when the devotees approached him who was sitting, then they noticed that he had a sign, a board in front of him. And written on the board was, "If any devotees of the Lord wish to donate rice, dal, and so on, I will accept." So obviously, he was being very deceitful, because he was trying to become very renowned as a person who never asks for anything. But then he made the exception, well, I didn't say that I wouldn't ask in writing. So he made a signpost asking. But Madhavendra Puripad, he was not like this so-called sadhu. He completely depended on the Lord, and he never advertised his vows to anyone. So now a question becomes raised by Srila Bharati Maharaj, that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes a promise in the 9th chapter, verse 22. What is that verse? Ananyas chintayantu mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nitya viyuktanam yogakshemam vaham yaham. So what is the meaning? What is Krishna telling here? He's saying in the Gita to Arjuna, for those persons who are devoid of any other desires, and they are always absorbed in contemplation of me, and who always are engaging in worshiping me, then for those devotees I personally carry all their necessities. I personally carry all necessities of my devotees. And I also preserve what they presently have. So Sri Krishna, he promises that he will take full responsibility for the maintenance of a person who meditates exclusively on him. Ananyas chintayantu mam. And then, just like a mother is always concerned about the welfare of her dependent children, Sri Krishna is always concerned for his surrendered devotees. So once Madhavendra Puripad, he was sitting near to Govinda Kunda in Govardhan. We've gone there many times. So Madhavendra Puri was sitting there near Govinda Kunda, near Govardhan, and he was absorbed very deeply in chanting. And it was nearing sunset, and he had not received any milk that day. So he was fasting. Now at that time, the Lord, Krishna, he appeared in front of Madhavendra Puripad disguised as like an ordinary village cowherd boy. He came before Madhavendra Puri like that. And then he asked to Madhavendra Puri, "Oh, Baba, dusk is approaching, and you have still not asked for food? Why haven't you eaten anything?" Then Madhavendra Puripad replied, "How do you know that I have not eaten anything, or that I've gone begging anywhere? How do you know?" Then the Lord said to him, "The women of my village, they informed me that you have been sitting from morning to evening, and you have not requested a single thing to eat or drink. So now the Lord, who is disguised as a cowherd boy, he said, in my village no one goes fasting, and that's why I brought milk for you. So Krishna, he had noticed that Madhavendra Puripad intently focused upon him, and he was paying very close attention to his words. Now he understood that Madhavendra Puripad was wondering who he was, this cowherd boy. So Madhavendra Puripad, he was worried that Madhavendra Puri would recognize him. Krishna was worried that Madhavendra Puri would recognize that he's Krishna, this cowherd boy. So he excused himself. Krishna excused himself. I am in a rush. Please keep the pot. I will come back for it. So then as soon as Madhavendra Puri drank the milk in that pot, he felt astonished, for he had never tasted milk like this before. And the taste was not of this world. And furthermore, he was unable to forget that boy. Now he waited eagerly for the boy to return, because the boy had given his word that he would return. And while he was waiting for him, Madhavendra Puri, he fell asleep. Now the boy appeared in his dream. This is yes, Amazon. Yes, coming right now, coming. Okay, so the boy, oh no, I lost it. Darn. Okay, go back there again. Okay. So, then Madhavendra Puripad fell asleep, and then the boy appeared in the dream of Madhavendra Puri, and he said, my name is Gopal. I was installed by King Vajranabha, and now at one point Mlechas and Yavanas came to attack. So my sevaks, they feared that I would be attacked. So they took me from the top of Govardhan Hill, and then they hid me in this kunja, and then they escaped, they ran away. Now, O Madhavendra, I have been suffering from cold, from heat, and from hunger since that time. And I have been waiting for you since a long time. And I have been thinking, Kabeyasi Madhav Ama Koribe Sevan. Oh, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? So I am requesting you to please remove me from this place and to serve me. Now the question may be asked, why did the Lord appear to Madhavendra Puripad as Gopal? Up to that point, Madhavendra Puripad had never engaged in serving the deity form. Why? This is because Nam Vigraha Swarup Teen Ek Rupa. Tine Bed Nahi Teen Chidananda Rupa. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's describing that the Lord's holy name, the Lord's form, and the Lord's personality are all one and the same. And there is no difference between them. Now, since all of them are absolute, they are all transcendentally blissful. And there is no difference between Bhagavan's name and Bhagavan's form. Now, early the next morning, Madhavendra Puripad approached the villagers, and he explained that the lord of their village was hidden in the jungle, buried beneath the groves, and thus he was in need of their assistance to be removed. So with their help, the Lord was recovered from the Kunja, and he was placed on the top of Giriraj Govardhan. However, it was observed that the Lord was unable to stand without any support. So Madhavendra Puripad arranged for 3 big stones to support the Lord. So, how is it possible that the same Lord who walked to give milk to Madhavendra Puripad and spoke directly with him, now that same Lord is requesting assistance, and he's demonstrating complete helplessness? The Lord who knows everyone's heart, the cause of all causes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is suddenly unable to stand without support in his deity form. So for the pleasure of his devotees, the Lord performs his pastimes as a deity. He was devoid of independence. This deity is fully dependent, requiring so much assistance. So the Lord performed that pastime. Now, Madhavendra Puripad, he performed the Anakut festival. Anakut, like they do every year, and like they did at the time when Krishna was present. They performed the Anakut festival with a huge piles of so many cooked foods, and all offering to the Lord. So when Madhavendra Puri had rescued the deity and put him properly, so all the village people, some of them, they were pujaris for the deity, and they were serving the deity. And they continued to perform this Anakut festival of huge amounts of boga being offered to the deity. How long did they do that? Under the direction of Madhavendra Puri? 2 years. For 2 years with the help of the nearby villagers. But guess what? Madhavendra Puri did not accept any prasadam during that time. Only milk. And even that milk, he would only accept it if someone offered it to him without his asking for it. And he did not break his vow of taking only milk. So we see here that Madhavendra Puripad disregarded his vow of not asking anything from anyone, and he requested the help of the villagers for the service of the Lord. But for himself, Madhavendra Puripad retained his vow of not taking anything besides milk. But he broke his vow for the service of the Lord, but not for his own gratification. So Srila Bharati Maharaj is ending this remembrance by saying, I pray at the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puripad, today remembering him and begging for a particle of his mercy. So, There's one more katha, as I mentioned earlier, that there's a great devotee of and disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who disappeared today on this Titi, the day after the full moon. And so Srila Bharati Maharaj has given a biographical sketch of him, and now he's including that here. Now, prior to joining the Gaudiya Math full-time, Srila Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktisaranga Goswami, he was known as Sri Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay, and he worked for the Indian Railways. Now, they provided him with a very stable residence. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, once he visited and he stayed there for 3 days at his residence in 1921. And then as a result of his divine association during that 3-day visit, Sri Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay decided to dedicate his life to serving the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. And he followed the principle of the verse, Gurum eva bigachchet, from the Mundak Upanishad. He understood that upon approaching Sri Guru, one ought to surrender oneself completely without returning home for anything. So, therefore he packed all his household bureau, all his household items, his table, his chair, his bureau, and so on. And he packed them all onto a truck, and he brought them to the mutt. He did not leave anything behind, so as to ensure that he would never have to revisit his house to settle pending matters. So Sri Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay and Sri Srimad Bhakti Prakash Aranya Goswami Maharaj, they visited many homes and offices to collect donations and to find new subscribers for the Gaudiya Math's weekly magazines titled Gaudiya. Now in those days, the Gaudiya was publishing Srimad Bhagavatam in installments, and then often including pictures of Srila Prabhupada and of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other Vaishnava acharyas. So one day, a person asked to this Srila Aranya Goswami Maharaj, he asked him the following: Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be non-different from Bhagavan. So why then have you included pictures of mortal humans on its same pages? This person used the terminology mortal human beings, because he said the Srimad Bhagavatam is completely spiritual transcendental. So why have you put pictures of mortal humans on these same pages as the Bhagavatam? Now, for whatever reason, Srila Aranya Goswami Maharaj kept silent. And therefore, Srila Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay, he gave an eloquent yet very assertive reply. Here's what he told. You have not fully understood the special divine characteristics of Grantha Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the divine characteristics of Bhakta Bhagavat, the devotee of Bhagavatam. Nor have you learned the purports of the many essential verses that describe the nature of devotees, such as what? Sakshadaritvena samasta shastra, ruktastata bhavyada eva sadabi, kintu prapurya priya vetasya, bande guru Sri Charanarvindam. And what does this verse tell? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written this. Gurvastakam. And he says that the scriptures all unanimously proclaim Sri Guru to be Sakshad Hari, that Sri Guru is directly Sri Hari. And this is a fact jointly corroborated by all saintly persons. Yet, at the same time, Sri Guru is very dear to Bhagavan. So, I adore the lotus feet of that Sri Gurudev. So now, this Bandopadhyay, Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay, who was answering that person, because that person was insulting our Guru Varga, that these are ordinary mortal persons and you've put them in the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So now he told that you don't know anything about Grantha Bhagavat and about Bhakta Bhagavat. So how then will it be possible for you to comprehend that the photographs published in the Gaudiya, they are not of ordinary persons, but they are of very special, self-realized personalities. And moreover, it will be difficult for you to understand that because of their eternal relationship with Bhagavan, these liberated persons are non-different from him in the same way Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from him. So then he ended this discussion by remarking that I am from a Brahmin family. This is Bhakti Saranga Goswami. I am from a Brahmin family so high that 14 generations of your family would consider themselves grateful if but one of them happened to drink water from a place where I had passed urine. Because in Bengal, these persons who come down in these lines from Nityananda Prabhu and so forth, they're very highly regarded in Bengal culture and society. So he's born in one such family. And he's informing this person who was criticizing his gurus that I want you to know that I'm born in a Brahmin family that is so high that 14 generations of your family would consider themselves fortunate, and they would consider themselves grateful if only one of them would happen to drink water from a place where I had passed urine. Now, he continues and he says, but you, for some reason, you're questioning the Master, at whose feet I have offered my head. And you are also questioning the magazine that I have come to distribute. So in the evening time, Srila Aranya Goswami Maharaj recounted the story to Srila Prabhupada. This story. And he told Srila Prabhupada that although he was unable to answer the man's question, Srila Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay, who was relatively new to the mutt, he gave an apt reply. And upon hearing this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, tears flowed from his eyes. And then he said, Sriman Mahaprabhu has sent one of his close associates to assist us. So we have heard that Sriman Mahaprabhu and his associates, they appeared before Srila Prabhupada, and they also assured him, they assured Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, the associates and Mahaprabhu assured him that they would provide both the means and the manpower that is required to spread Shuddha Bhakti among the masses of people. You know when they appeared to him? When did they appear to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati? Mahaprabhu and his associates, they appeared before him. Do you know when and where? When did Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself and his associates appear directly in front of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Only to him. When did that happen? You don't know this history, huh? You don't know? You don't know this history. I'm telling you now. When Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, took a vow to chant 1 billion names of Krishna, then he began to execute that vow. Where was he staying? He was staying at the place called Chandrasekhar Bhavan. At the time of Mahaprabhu, this was the house of Mahaprabhu's intimate associate named Chandrasekhar Acharya. So, but there was no mutt at that time. Later this became Sri Chaitanya Mutt, Akara Mutt Raj, the central mutt of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's Gaudiya Mutt preaching mission. And that is in Mayapur, that we go there, where Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's Samadhi is there, and his deities are also there. So, he fulfilled that vow by chanting for 10 years, that he would chant 1 billion names of Krishna, 3 lakhs every day. At the end of fulfilling that vow, right there in Mayapur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself appeared in front of him, and along with Mahaprabhu's associates. And then he, Mahaprabhu, and his associates gave their assurance and their blessings to him, to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that now for his preaching mission, they would provide everything. They would provide all the means, all the paraphernalia that is required, and all the manpower that is required. To do what? To spread Shuddha Bhakti among the masses of people. So in this pastime, Srila Prabhupada confirmed that Mahaprabhu himself had sent his dear associate, Sri Srimad Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. Okay, that's why I have such a special feelings for him, this great disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Now, this Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay, he didn't take sannyas right away. That was not until later. Even it was not until after the disappearance of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And whenever Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay collected donations, then he always dressed in a very formal attire consisting of a coat and of pants. Now one day, he visited the house of what is called a Sethji. This means the house of a very, very wealthy person. Then he rang the doorbell. And the owner personally answered the door. So when Sri Atul Chandra Bandopadhyay introduced himself as a member of the Gaudiya Mutt, then that Sethji, he replied by saying, I have no faith in Gaudiya Mutt. This is at the doorstep. He's ringing the doorbell. the owner comes and he makes a declaration, I have no faith in Gaudiya Math. Now, what did Atul Chandra do? He ignored that man's words. He brushed past him and he entered into the house. He ignored that man's words. So that Sethaji, he became irritated. Did you not hear me? He asked. I said I have no faith in the Gaudiya Math. Now Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu took a seat in a nearby chair, speaking nothing in reply. Now that Sethaji became so irate, and again he repeated, I said I have no faith in the Gaudiya Math. So this time, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu responded, and he said, yes, yes, I have heard you. This is exactly why I have come to your house, to generate your faith in the Gaudiya Math. Even before I came, I knew that you had no faith in the Gaudiya Math. For if you had, you could not have resisted visiting. Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu then expertly explained the aim of the Gaudiya Math's mission and its unique specialities. And being highly influenced by Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu's scholarly presentation, the Sethji gratefully offered him a large donation. And what did Atul Chandra Prabhu do? He refused that donation. He said, I have not come for a donation, he said. Believe me when I say, I have come only to generate your faith in the Gaudiya Math. Then, with great respect, the Sethji personally drove Atul Chandra back to the Gaudiya Math, where he received darshan of Srila Prabhupada, and he offered the donation to him directly. And thereafter, he visited the Gaudiya Math regularly. These are the accounts of the preaching of Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. Amazing. So, there's more. There's more. I'm just checking. Yeah, it's not too much more. So I'll complete this, even though we've gone a little bit over time. So now the next section is delivering an offender. So here's another offender. Once Srila Prabhupada took Sri Atul Chandra Bandyopadhyay, and he also took an entourage of devotees to preach in a place called Kanpur. Kanpur. Now while Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu went to the city for a short time to collect donations, then the local district magistrate, he came to visit Srila Prabhupada. And during their conversation, the magistrate, he made a derogatory comment to Srila Prabhupada, and he said, most of your followers seem highly educated. Is it your mission to turn educated people into mendicants? And then, as the magistrate said this to Prabhupada, he got up and he abruptly left. So later, when Atul Chandra Prabhu returned to see Srila Prabhupada, then Srila Prabhupada informed him of this encounter with that magistrate. And as Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu listened to Srila Prabhupada, he noticed that the magistrate's criticism had made Srila Prabhupada unhappy. He immediately hailed a horse cart and he went to the magistrate's house, When he arrived, he told him, Srila Prabhupada is an extraordinary personality. He is a personal associate of Bhagavan. Your disrespectful comment has ensured your total ruin. You have played with fire, and now 14 generations of your family will have to suffer in hell. The district magistrate became frightened. He humbly asked Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu what he must do to make amends. Then Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu instructed him to beg Srila Prabhupada for forgiveness and serve him somehow. Then the magistrate and Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu at once returned to the mutt, where Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu implored Srila Prabhupada, please be kind to this man and absolve him of his offense to your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada then spoke to the magistrate on many topics, and the magistrate served him by offering a donation of 500 rupees. 500 rupees back then is like a few lakhs of rupees right now. Okay? Back then, one single rupee or even a portion of a rupee could maintain an entire household for a whole month. Okay? So, that magistrate offered Prabhupada, he served him with a donation of 500 rupees. Now, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu he had accepted a huge responsibility when he resolved to save the district magistrate from committing a serious offense. This anecdote demonstrates many of Srila Goswami Maharaja's transcendental qualities. He had firm conviction in the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. He could recognize the awful fate that in store for those who offended Srila Prabhupada, and he mercifully strived to find a way for them to atone for their offenses. So by this, he delivered many offenders, and like a true well-wisher, he did whatever he could to cultivate auspiciousness on their behalf. Now, while Srila Prabhupada was heading to Braj Mandala to perform the Sri Braj Mandala Parikrama with his associates, a particular year, there is a person named Sri Halagu Lal, who is the head of the managing committee of the Sri Banki Bihari temple. And that person issued a statement to almost all of the prominent temples in Vrindavan, notifying them that Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would soon arrive with all his followers, and all of his followers are Harijans. You know what that is? They're like Gandhi movement, making mlechas and shudras into devotees of the Lord, Harijan. And then he was a managing committee member of the Banki Bihari temple. He told all the temples in Vrindavan, he and his followers are not to be allowed entrance into our temples. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. When Sri Atul Chandra Bandyopadhyay came to hear of this, he took a group of his Brahmin-born godbrothers, including Shri Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj, who was then named Hayagriv Brahmachari, Sri Narothamananda Brahmachari, later known as Sri Bhakti Kamala Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, Sri Pranava Ananda Brahmachari, later Sri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, and others. He took them along with himself to go and meet with this Gosai, or this head priest of the Radha Madan Mohan temple. He went to meet with that head priest. Now in conversing with the respected Gosai, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu asked him, do we who have taken birth in Brahmin families, do we seem to you like we are fallen deviants? Have we not conducted ourselves according to the words of Scripture when we resolved to follow the path of pure Vaishnav Dharma? Srila Prabhupada has propagated the principles of Daiva Varnashram Dharma, which is the social designation, according not to the race or the familial lineage, but to their innate. So to maintain a mundane conception of Srila Prabhupada will bring only ill fortune to the world. Moreover, may I remind you that I, Chandra Ban, when that Gosai in the caste Goswami family heard that, he begged for forgiveness. Then he accompanied Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu to see Srila Prabhupada. And then he brought Srila Prabhupada and the Parikrama party for darshan of Sri Radha Madan Mohanji, and he conferred great respect unto Srila Prabhupada. Now, observing the conduct of the Sri Madan Mohanji Temple Gosai, the head priests of all the other prominent temples of Vrindavan, they also accorded befitting honor and respect to Srila Prabhupada. It was only the Gosai of the Banki Bihari temple who maintained some objection to allowing Srila Prabhupada's disciples to enter his temple, saying that Sri Bihari Ji would be frightened by the tridandas that the sannyasis carried. That's the excuse he gave. When Srila Prabhupada heard of this, he said, fine. If this is the case, we shall not enter the Sri Banki Bihari temple. We do not wish to frighten Thakurji. So then there's one more. Once, Sri Atul Chandra Bandyopadhyay took his godbrother, Sri Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, to visit a miserly businessman in Madras, which is now called Chennai. And that person, that businessman, he only spoke the language of Tamil. But the two godbrothers, they did not know one word of that language of Tamil. So before their visit, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu, he told Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, I will communicate with him through hand gestures only. All you must do is advance toward him with your tridanda and then back off when I tell you. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked him, and why exactly am I supposed to run back and forth with my tridanda? Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj asked. Then Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu replied, he will either think that I am depriving him of a blessing from Sri Narayan, who is embodied by your tridanda, or he will think that I am protecting him from you to turning him into ashes with it. So when Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj advanced toward the businessman with his tridanda during their meeting, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu stopped him, and then he held up his 10 fingers pointing to the businessman. Now the businessman in return held up one finger. Then again Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj advanced toward the businessman until Srila Atul Chandra Prabhu stopped him. And this time Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu held up 9 fingers. And then the businessman held up 2. So they went on like this until eventually they both held up 5 fingers. And as soon as Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu stood up as if he was ready to leave, then the merchant made a gesture signaling him to stay. Then the merchant went inside his house. Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj asked, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu, what does this mean, holding up 5 fingers? Then Atul Chandra Prabhu said, Maharaj, I have no idea. It could be 5 rupees or 50 rupees or 500 or something else. Whatever it is, let us wait and see. Then the merchant brought 500 rupees from inside, and he put it in Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj's hand. He then begged him to bless him on the forehead with his tridanda. And Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj obliged. So as they were leaving, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu kicked the ground at the doorway. And then when Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj asked why he did that, then he said, I do not want to deal with this kind of person ever again. Otherwise I fear that I will become a covetous materialist, a Vishayi. I am kicking this man's association. I am kicking it with spite. Then Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he would often say about Atul Chandra, he would say, Sri Atul Chandra Prabhu was like a radish farmer. You know, radishma, yeah, muli. He was saying that he was like a radish farmer whose crop is completely uprooted during the harvesting. He would approach a person once, receive what he could, and never return. Others, however, were like eggplant farmers, whose crop continues to give even after harvesting. So they would repeatedly go to the same person to acquire whatever they needed. Neither is intrinsically better than the other. They are simply different approaches. So the best approach is always that which is most favorable for the service of Sri Hari according to time, place, and circumstance. And that ends this article by Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj about Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. It's taken from his book, My Beloved Masters. There's actually more, but this is all that is included on this Gmail. And but I'll just mention one thing quickly, that before, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had sent to England the first preachers, which were Bhakti Hridoy Ban Maharaj, and then there was another after him, I'm forgetting. What? Bhakti Pradeep Tirtha Maharaj, I think. So, but then later, when they had returned back, then this Atul Chandra Bandyopadhyay, which was Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, he was sent by Prabhupada to go to England and preach. He was very, very fluent in English language, very highly educated. And as you saw, very highly respected gentleman, born in an extremely high family in Bengal. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur cried tears when he heard about this person who had newly joined the Gaudiya Math. So then, I read in that book a story that really touched my heart. So Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, while he was gone to preach in England, what took place? Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati departed from this world while he was overseas. What did he do? Did he suddenly want to come back very quickly? No. He remained there preaching. And there's one incident that took place because he had barely any funds. And a check was sent to him. It was mailed to him. So, by the Gaudiya Math or someone, I forget. And then he went to a bank to cash the check. But the bank manager asked him, so, who are you? What is your identity? And he didn't have identification for some reason at that time. And so the bank manager, I cannot cash this check unless it is proven that you are the person whose name is on the check. So you know what happened? Bhakti Saranga Goswami, he wasn't a sannyasi at the time. he looked behind the bank manager on the wall. Or where was it? Anyway, he looked and he saw, where was it? No, I know it's a newspaper, but where exactly it was? Huh? Yeah. So he took that newspaper and he showed it to the bank manager, because in the newspaper on the front page was a picture of him, identifying him that he's a preacher of the Gaudiya Math and so forth. And then he showed that to the bank manager and he said, "Am I not this person?" Then the bank manager admitted, "Yes, you are." And he cashed the check. So in this way, the extraordinary preaching activities of Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, who was one of the forerunners of my beloved Srila Prabhupada to go to the West and preach. And when he had returned to India, and he was also living in Vrindavan, so our Srila Prabhupada was also living there as a sannyasi in Radha Damodar temple and so forth, and he became very near and closely associated with him there in Vrindavan. Now, also prior to his leaving to go to the England and preach. So, and there's a photo of him sitting right next to of my Prabhupada, sitting next to Bhakti Saranga Goswami in a small assembly right there in Vrindavan. They're dressed for the winter weather. You can see they have hats on their heads, everything, in Vrindavan. And then standing kind of in front of them off to the side is Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj speaking through a microphone. So we have that photo. So right next door to our Gopinath Bhavan, right on the bank of the Yamuna, Parikrama Marg, right next door is the famous transcendental place of Srimati Radhika and Krishna called Imli Tala. And Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj is the personality that established that temple, Imli Tala. His samadhi is right there. Whenever you want to circumambulate the tree, the Imli Tal tree, you have to also circumambulate his samadhi there, small samadhi. Also here in Mayapur, on the other side of the Ganga, is a mutt that he established, and that mutt happens to be established at the exact place in which Nityananda Prabhu first met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Nityananda came to Mayapur. And it was the house of, I'm forgetting, you remember? Huh? Nandan Acharya. Yeah. Now I remember. Nandan Acharya. And so, I don't know if it's a Pushpa Samadhi or if it's his body Samadhi. I don't know which is which. But there's also a Samadhi of Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj there. And certainly they will be having a very big feast and festival to glorify him, since today is his is it appearance or disappearance day? Yes. Disappearance Titi, disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. So we have gone over time, but it's worth it for to hear the glorification of these personalities on this very, very auspicious day. Just the day after the full moon day. And so we will complete our katha here. Gaur Prem Anande. Hari Hari Bo.
There is a master in London which was donated to him, and this master is still functioning.
Where did you hear that from? Well, I don't know any details. I know that there's a mutt there but I don't know that it was him who established that mutt. I don't know.
There was one
I've gone to that mutt, because when I was there in 1999, I went to London to be with Bhakti Balabhatirtha Maharaj. He was preaching in London and staying at an Indian gentleman's house. So I went and joined him for 3 days. This was just after our Gurudev had left England to return back to India after his preaching tour. So I took advantage to visit with Bhakti Balabhatirtha Maharaj, and for 3 days. For 3 days, he was preaching, and one of those, I was accompanying him. Turn this off. I was accompanying him to various preaching places where he went, and on one of those days we actually went to a big house in London, and that was actually the house that had been established by one of the British personalities who became like followers of Gaudiya Math by meeting, Bhakti Hriday Ban Maharaj and so forth. So yes, I'm sure that Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, it may be that he also had something to do with that mutt. Okay, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Om Brindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satya Vachai Namo Nama Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glory to the assembled devotees. So today is Friday, 24th. And the next class is on Sunday, the 26th. There's a personality I'm not so familiar, Sri Nimananda Sevatirtha Prabhu. I think he's a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. His appearance day on that Sunday, the 26th. And then the next class will be on Tuesday, the 28th. And on that day is the disappearance day of Sri Rai Ramananda. And the day after that, then Gaurangi, she will go in the evening time to the airport. And her flight is on the 30th. The next day she will go. On the 29th, on Wednesday she will go. And then her flight is on Thursday, the 30th. So we'll have class on Sunday. Let's see what kind of rains will be coming with the hurricane or the cyclone. And then on Tuesday, the 28th, then we will have one more class at that time. And then we will again have class on the 30th. There's no appearance or disappearance day. That is Thursday the 30th. And then we move into the month of June. And on the 2nd of June, we will have class again. And then after that, there are some appearance days, and there's some festival days, like, for example, Vrindavan Das Thakur, and Ekadasi, and Bhakti Sudhir Jachak Maharaj, and then Amavasya. Yeah, so for like the first 2 weeks, there's not any major festival or appearance or disappearance days. But then the 15th and 16th, there's Baladev Vijayabhushan disappearance day. And then on the 16th, which is a Sunday, Ganga Dashahara, Ganga Puja, Ganga Devi, and Sri Gangamata Goswamini's appearance day. And the appearance day of Ganga Devi. Do you know who Ganga Devi is? Huh? I can't hear you. Yeah, Nityananda Prabhu's daughter, Ganga. Okay, so now we will finish class.
And also, like in ISKCON calendar, the Krishna Kula Dola.
Yeah, we read about that in the very beginning. I guess they have a big festival over there. That's what I heard. They make some kind of boat thing at the ISKCON temple. Which day is that on your ISKCON calendar? Oh, okay. All right.